So now let us see acidic salt now. Okay. So till now we saw that is neutral salt. Okay. So neutral salt is the formation of strong acid and strong base. Okay. The reaction between strong acid and strong base, we can get the neutral salt. But here we have the reaction between strong acid and weak base. Strong acid and weak base, we get acidic salt. Okay, that is strong acid plus weak base. Okay, strong acid plus weak base, we get acidic salt. We get acidic salt. Okay, see, there is no, due to formation of this weak base doesn't neutralize fully the strong acid, so we can get acidic salt here. Okay, so salts which are formed after the reaction of this reaction, that is strong acid and weak base, we get the acidic salt. Okay, so for example, so ammonium chloride, for example, ammonium chloride and ammonium sulfate. Okay, ammonium sulfate. Okay, so these are the examples for acidic salt. Okay, we have the examples for neutral salt as sodium chloride, potassium chloride and what? Sodium sulfate. Okay, sodium chloride, potassium chloride and sodium sulfate by the reaction between strong acid and strong base. But here we have the salt, acidic salt, that is ammonium chloride and ammonium sulfide. That is the reaction between strong acid and weak base. Okay, so what is the reactions here we get? So we are the reactions between, okay, we are making the reactions between strong acid and weak base. Okay, so what is the strong acids here? We are taking hydrochloric acid. See here, Cl. We have in the acidic salt we have chlorine. So we are taking here hydrochloric acid. See here, sulfate. Okay, so sulfate means sulfuric acid we are using to produce this acidic salt. Okay, so let us see this reaction. Okay, so ammonium hydroxide is a base, weak base. Ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. Okay, so strong acid is HCl plus ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide. See children, first you must learn the molecular formulas. Without knowing the molecular formulas, we can't form the equation. Okay, so ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. Okay, and hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. Okay, so hydrochloric acid plus ammonium hydroxide, we get hydrochloric acid plus ammonium hydroxide, we get what we get? So ammonium chloride plus water, NH4Cl, ammonium chloride plus water molecule. Okay, so this is the reaction. Strong acid, weak base reacts each other and we get the base, acidic salt. We get the acidic salt. Okay, plus water. And then we see this acidic salt. Okay, how to form this acidic salt? Ammonium sulfate. See, here we are taking H2SO4. What is this H2SO4? Sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid reacts with ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH. Sulfuric acid reacts with ammonium hydroxide. We get sulfuric acid reacts with ammonium hydroxide. We get ammonium sulfate, NH4 twice SO4. Ammonium sulfate plus water. Okay, now see this reaction is balanced or not. Now see here, H2 plus 4, 6. See here, 4 2s are 6. Okay, so 6 plus see 2, 4, 5. Okay, so 4 2s are 8 plus 9, 10 is there. Okay, so here we have only 5. So here So let us see here how to 2, and here 3 plus 4, 7. Okay, this side we have 7 atoms of hydrogen. But here see, 4 2s are 8, 8 plus 2, 10. Okay, we have 10 atoms here in this product side. Okay, so now we want to balance this equation. How to balance? See here, we want to multiply by 2 here. See, now we have 2 plus 4 2s are 8, 8 plus 2, 10. So 10 plus 2, 10 plus 2, 12. Okay, now we have 12 in this side. See again, I'll say 4 2s are 8 hydrogen atoms plus 2. Okay, so here also we have hydrogen, so 2 atoms. So 8 plus 2, 10 in this compound, and here we have 2. So we have totally 12 hydrogen atoms. But see here, 4 2s are 8, here 2. So total 8 plus 2, 10 atoms. But here also we want 12 atoms of hydrogen to balance. Now we are multiplying here 2. Okay, so 2 2s are 4. So 4 into 8, 4 into 4 plus 8, 12. Okay, we have 12 this side also. Okay, now hydrogen is balanced. Okay, now let us move on to sulfur. Here 1, this side also 1 atom only. Okay, now oxygen 4 plus 1. So here 2. No? So 2 into 1, 2. So 4 plus 2, 6. So here 4 plus 2, 6. Okay. Now then we move on to nitrogen. Nitrogen is here 2. Here also 2. Hydrogen is also over and oxygen is also over. So now this equation is also balanced. Okay. See. So acidic salt, we are getting by the reaction between the strong acid and weak base. Strong acid and weak base, we get the acidic salt. Okay. Then we move on to the basic salt. So basic salt. So what is the reaction between the basic salt we are getting? See, that is weak acids plus strong base. Strong base. So we get the basic salt. We get the basic salt. Okay. So we get the basic salt here. So for examples. So what are the examples for basic salt? Okay. Sodium carbonate and sodium acetate. These are the examples for basic salts. Okay. What are the examples? Na2CO3 and CH3COO. Okay, sodium acetate. The name of this sodium acetate. Okay, here we are using weak acids. Here we are using weak acids. What are the weak acids here? We are taking here carbonic acid and acetic acid. Carbonic acid and acetic acid to form these two weak, that is basic salts. These two basic salts, we are taking the weak acids. Okay, so while strong bases neutralizes fully the weak acids. Strong bases neutralizes fully the weak bases to form a basic salt here. Okay, so what is the reaction? Let us see the reaction between weak acids and strong base. First, we can take carbonic acid. What is the molecular formula for carbonic acid? H2CO3. H2CO3 plus strong base. What is the strong base here? What is strong base? Okay, so that is reaction between carbonic acid and strong base. That is sodium hydroxide. NaOH. See here, that is H2CO3. H2CO3 is a carbonic acid. Carbonic acid. Okay. So here this reaction takes reverse reaction also. Okay. So for that we are taking reactions here. Carbonic acid plus sodium hydroxide. We get sodium carbonate. Na2CO3. Na2CO3 plus water H2O. Okay. See Na2CO3 plus H2O. Okay. See here. We want to balance this equation. Hydrogen 2 plus 1 3. Okay. Here only 2. So here also we are multiplying here. Multiplied by 2. See. carbonic acid plus sodium hydroxide also. Okay, so, and carbonic acid plus sodium hydroxide reacts, we get the basic salt plus water also. Okay children. Okay, then we move on to the another one. So sodium acetate, the formation of the sodium acetate, that is basic salt. Okay, so here we are taking, what is the weak acid here? Acetic acid, CH3 COOH, CH3 COOH. What is the molecular formula of acetic acid? Acetic acid. What is the molecular formula of acetic acid? That is, it reacts with sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Okay, here also the reaction takes place in reversible also. Okay, acetic acid reacts with sodium hydroxide, we get sodium acetate, CH3COONA, sodium acetate plus water, sodium acetate plus water, H2O. Okay children, understood? Okay, then what are the causes of formation of acidic, basic and neutral salts? Okay, so when equally, that is strong acid and strong base we are taking to react, that from that we are getting neutral salts. Okay, and strong acids and weak bases we are getting acidic salt. Okay, and the reaction between weak acids and strong bases we are getting basic salts. Okay children. Okay, then we move on to the important chemical compounds formed by the sodium hydroxide. Okay, and common salt. Okay, from that common salt we are getting the some chemical compounds. That chemical compounds are very useful to us. Okay, so let us see what is the common salt. You know what is the common salt? Sodium chloride is a common salt. Okay, it is formed after the reaction between the acid and bases, sodium hydroxide and HCl. Okay, that is acid and base both reacts and it gives sodium chloride. Okay, that by the neutralization reaction. So we can say sodium chloride is a neutral salt. Sodium chloride is a neutral salt. Okay, so then pH value of sodium chloride NaCl is 7. I told already, no, we are using in our food items. Okay, so in all the food substances we are using sodium chloride. The pH value of sodium chloride is 7. Okay, so NaCl is used to enhance the taste of the food. Okay, to enhance the taste of the food, and it is used in the manufacture of many chemicals. So sodium chloride is combined with any other products, any other products, compounds, to it is used to manufacture so many chemicals. Okay, and then sodium hydroxide, importance of the sodium hydroxide. Okay, so sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Okay, so you know here we are using weak acids with strong bases. Which is a strong base here? Sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Okay, so it is obtained by the electronic decomposition of brine solution. Okay, to form a brine solution. See, then in this process it is obtained by the anode. Okay, in anode we are obtaining the chlorine, and in cathode we are obtaining the hydrogen gas. Okay, so this whole process we can say it is a chlor-alkali process. Let us see about chlor-alkali process. How to obtain the sodium hydroxide here. Okay, how to obtain the sodium hydroxide here. In your textbook the figure is given, that is page number 30, page number 30. Okay, in that chlor-alkali process, the obtaining of sodium hydroxide from the brine solution. See, first you should know about brine solution. What is brine solution? The combination of sodium chloride with water. Okay, so we are taking sodium chloride, CaCl, plus water, H2O. Okay, these two combine to form a brine solution. This we can say brine solution. Okay, so brine solution. So sodium combination of sodium chloride plus water, we can say it is a brine solution. So these two combine to form a sodium hydroxide. Okay, that is sodium hydroxide. That is strong base. Strong base. So brine solution, we are taking brine solution. Okay, so from that brine solution, we are getting sodium hydroxide plus chlorine plus hydrogen gas. Okay, these three products we are getting by the chlor-alkali process. The total process, this one. Okay, so we are getting sodium hydroxide with a strong base from the brine solution. So this total process, we can say it is a chlor-alkali process. Chlor-alkali process. Okay, chlor-alkali process. Let us see the process now. Okay, the figure it is given in your textbook. So we can take the brine solution in any beaker or any other vessel. Okay, so in that we are pouring the brine solution inside that. In that solution we kept inside the anode and cathode in the brine solution. Okay, so from that we are getting the sodium hydroxide solution. See, we take that glass. See here inside this brine solution, CnACl plus H2O. Okay, so here we are kept inside this anode and cathode. Inside this. Okay, so here we are getting NaOH, that is a strong base solution. See, anode and cathode, here we are joining like this. This is anode and this is cathode here. Okay, so here the H plus ions and OH minus ions. Okay, so here we have two compounds now, sodium chloride and H2O here. Okay, sodium chloride and H2O. See, for better clarity, see your textbook. Okay, see your textbook. Okay, see in your textbook it is given chlorine minus ions and OH minus ions. Okay, these two forms here. Okay, so from chlorine minus ions, OH minus ions, and Na plus ions and H plus ions. Na plus and H plus ions. Okay, so these two are combined and form the electricity. You know, both acid and bases and salts are good conductors of electricity because it ionizes in the water solution. So while ionizes this, it releases the ions, that is OH minus ions and H plus ions. These two, the hydroxyl ions and hydronium ions, ionizes and it conducts electricity. Okay, children. Okay. So from this process, by the byproduct of this anode, we get chlorine here. This is chlorine. Okay, Cl2. And here we are getting by the anode, cathode we are getting hydrogen gas. We are getting hydrogen gas here. Okay, in this we are taking brine solution. Okay, so in this brine solution, this ionizes and we are getting the sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, that is a strong base. That is a strong base. Okay, so what are the products we are getting by the chlor-alkali process? What are the products we are getting by the chlor-alkali process? The first one, strong base, that is sodium hydroxide, and chlorine and hydrogen. Okay, now let us see what are the uses of this byproducts by the chlor-alkali process. Okay, so what are the uses here? Hydrogen gas. Here, this hydrogen gas is used in the fuel and margarine and in making of ammonia for fertilizers also. Okay, so manufacture of bleaching powder. Okay, chlorine gas is used. Chlorine gas is used in water treatment and manufacturing of PVC, disinfectants and CFC and fertilizers, and it is a main use in the bleaching powder. Okay, making or manufacturing of bleaching powders. And NaOH, that is strong base, this is used in the decreasing of metals and manufacturing of paper industry, soap industry and detergents and artificial fibers and bleaching also. Okay, so these are all the uses of the byproducts in the chlor-alkali process. Okay, so now let us see about the that is manufacturing of bleaching powder. How to manufacture the bleaching powder? So bleaching powder is also known as the chlorine of lime water. Okay, we can say it is a chlorine of lime. So we are smelling it as a lime smell itself, no? So you all smell it, you know the smell of the bleaching powder also. Okay, so it is a solid and yellowish white in color. It is a solid and yellowish white in color. Bleaching powder is a solid and yellowish white in color. So bleaching powder can be easily identified by the strong smell of chlorine. Okay, we can smell that bleaching powder, no? So we are moving from anywhere. Okay, so we can smell that bleaching powder. We can say easily they are used bleaching powders. Okay, to bleach anyone. Okay, surface of land. Okay, any places we are using bleaching powder to clean. Okay, so then when calcium hydroxide reacts with chlorine, when calcium hydroxide reacts with chlorine, so it gives calcium oxychloride. When calcium hydroxide reacts with chlorine, it gives calcium oxychloride. That calcium oxychloride is nothing but bleaching powder. Okay, the molecular formula of bleaching powder is CaOCl2. So lime water, quicklime, lime water or quicklime, we can say that is calcium hydroxide. The other name of quicklime is calcium hydroxide. It reacts with chlorine, that is released in the byproduct of the chlor-alkali process. We are getting the byproduct of the chlor-alkali process is chlorine. Okay, so this chlorine reacts with calcium hydroxide. We get the calcium oxychloride, that is bleaching powder. Okay, so here let us see the process now. See, calcium hydroxide, that is lime water, CaOH2. It reacts with chlorine. Okay, Cl2. We get CaOCl2. Okay, CaOCl2 plus water. With this releasing of water, H2O. Okay. See here, this is the process. Calcium hydroxide reacts with chlorine. We get calcium oxychloride plus water. We get calcium oxychloride plus water. Okay. Then this aqueous solution of calcium oxychloride is basic in nature. This calcium oxychloride, calcium oxychloride is basic in nature. This we can say the other name of calcium oxychloride is bleaching powder. Bleaching powder. Okay, children, understood? Okay, that is, it works. It is a bleaching powder. It is responsible for bleaching effect also. Okay, then uses of bleaching powders. So bleaching powder is used in the disinfectant to clean water, moss removers and weed killers, etc. And calcium oxychloride is also used for bleaching of cotton and textile industries also. Okay, so bleaching of wood pulp in paper industry also we are using. And calcium oxychloride is used as a oxidizing agent in many industries such as textile industry, paper industries, etc. Okay, so it is a oxidizing agent also. Bleaching powder is also working as a oxidizing agent. Okay, then we see about baking soda. Okay, so baking soda is another important chemical product which can be obtained by the which byproducts of the chloralkali process. Okay, the chemical name of baking soda is sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, now let us see about preparation of baking soda. Okay, see, baking soda. So baking soda we can say it as sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so the name of baking soda we can say the sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, that is NaHCO3. Okay, so this also we get by the production byproducts of the chloralkali process. Okay, that is bread soda and cooking soda bicarbonate of simply bicarb, okay, etc. are the some other names of baking soda. Okay, so these are the names of the baking soda and preparation method. How to prepare this baking soda? Baking soda is obtained by the reaction of brine solution, okay, from the chloralkali process. What is the brine solution here? Okay, what is the brine solution? Sodium chloride plus water is the brine solution. Sodium chloride plus water is the brine solution. So brine solution with carbon dioxide and ammonia, we get the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, see what is the reaction here? Brine solution. See first, what is the brine solution? NaCl plus H2O. This is a brine solution. So with this brine solution, it reacts with carbon dioxide plus ammonia, NH3. Okay, these are the reactants here. So what are the reactants? Which is the reaction of preparing of baking soda? Which are the reactants here? Brine solution. What is the brine solution? NaCl plus H2O is the brine solution. So brine solution, with that it reacts with carbon dioxide and ammonia. We get NaHCO3 plus ammonium chloride, ammonium NH4Cl, ammonium chloride NH4Cl. Okay, so that is brine solution. With that we are getting ammonium chloride plus baking soda. Baking soda we can say sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so the properties of sodium hydrogen carbonate is sodium bicarbonate is a white color crystalline solid, but it appears in a fine powder. Okay, it appears in a fine powder. Okay, so it is amphoteric in nature. What is meant by amphoteric? What is the word meaning amphoteric? So amphoteric means it acts as both acid and base. Okay, so amphoteric means this powder can react as both acid and both base. Okay, so both acid and base. Okay, it reacts the place which it can react in the place it has an acid or it has a base. Okay, that we can say amphoteric in nature. Okay, then sodium hydrogen carbonate is sparingly soluble in water. Okay, it is soluble in water. And thermal decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate, from that thermal decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate we get the sodium carbonate. We get the sodium carbonate. Okay, so this sodium hydrogen carbonate we are heating. Sodium hydrogen carbonate we are heating. We get sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 plus carbon dioxide plus water. Okay, we get the products of Na2CO3 plus carbon dioxide plus water. Again and again by the thermal effect of this sodium carbonate. Okay, Na2CO3. By heating we get sodium oxide, Na2O plus water also. Okay, Na2O plus carbon dioxide again we are getting. Okay, and we are are having the anhydrous powders. Okay, there is no water content there. Okay, so that is by thermal effect of these products. Okay, by the thermal effect of sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, we are heating that, we get sodium carbonate plus carbon dioxide plus water. Again we are getting a heating effect, that is thermal effect of sodium carbonate, we get sodium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay, this reaction is known as dehydration reaction. What is meaning by dehydration? Without water. Okay, that is anhydrous. Anhydrous, the word anhydrous, the word anhydrous is also known as without water. Okay, so without water. Hydrated means with water. Okay, hydrated, the word hydrated. The word hydrated means with water. Anhydrous means without water, a dry powder. This means a dry powder. Okay, anhydrous means dry powder, and hydrated means that is wet. Okay, it has some water content in that. Okay, so amphoteric means both acid and base. It reacts as both acid and base. Okay, so now let us move on to the uses of baking soda. You know where we are using baking soda. Okay, baking soda is used in the making of baking. Okay, that is baking products in bakeries. Okay, so which is used in the cooking on the produces of carbon dioxide, and which makes the batter soft and fluffy. Okay, so this baking powder is used to make the food items fluffiness, sponginess. Okay, so it makes us spongy. Okay, very soft. So baking soda is used as an antacid also to avoid the acidity level. Okay, it avoids the more acidified. Okay, more acidity. And baking soda is used in the manufacture of toothpaste. Okay, so which makes the teeth white and plaque removal. Okay, the plaque should be formed on the enamel of the teeth. That removes this product. Okay, and then baking soda is used in the cleansing of ornaments. Okay, made of silver. Okay, so we are using the silver ornaments now. In that so many dust particles are there. We can use this baking soda to remove that dust particles in the ornaments of the silver also. Okay, and then sodium hydrogen carbonate gives carbon dioxide and sodium oxide on strong heating. Okay, after thermal heating, we are getting sodium oxide plus carbon dioxide. This is used as a fire extinguishers. The sodium oxide and carbon dioxide are used as a fire extinguishers also. Okay, so by the byproduct is the more thermal effect on the sodium bicarbonate, so it gives sodium oxide and carbon dioxide. These products are used as a good fire extinguishers. Okay, and then we move on to the washing soda. Okay, so preparation method of washing soda. So washing soda is also we are prepared by the thermal decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate obtained by the chlor-alkali process. What does mean by chlor-alkali process? In chlor-alkali process, we are using brine solution. By that brine solution, we are manufacturing the sodium bicarbonate. Okay, so by the thermal effect of sodium bicarbonate, we get sodium carbonate. Okay, this is the preparation of washing soda. Okay, see, by this method we are manufacturing the washing soda. Okay, so I have explained already, that is by the use of brine solution. With that carbon dioxide and ammonia, we are producing the sodium bicarbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is baking soda. Okay, and that baking soda, we are giving the thermal effect of baking soda. We are getting the sodium carbonate. Okay, that we can say it is a washing soda. Okay, washing soda. Okay, so this is an anhydrous powder. Anhydrous powder. What is the anhydrous? Anhydrous powder. What is the anhydrous powder? Anhydrous means, here I told you, what is the anhydrous? Anhydrous means that is without water. Okay, washing soda. Okay. See, washing soda is obtained by dehydration of anhydrated sodium carbonate. Okay, anhydrated sodium, anhydrous sodium carbonate. After this, we are making into a hydrated sodium carbonate. Hydrated sodium carbonate. Since there are 10 water molecules in washing soda, hence it is known as sodium carbonate decahydrate. Okay, so we are adding this. So let us write here. See, so this washing soda, we are adding this washing soda Na2CO3. Okay, with 10 molecules of water molecules. 10 molecules of water we are adding. We get the sodium carbonate decahydrate. That is sodium carbonate decahydrate. 10 means we can say it is a decahydrate. Hydrated sodium carbonate also we can say, that is so hydrated sodium carbonate or sodium carbonate decahydrate. Okay, sodium carbonate decahydrate. Okay, so sodium carbonate is a crystalline solid on it. It is soluble in water. In the form of crystalline of sodium carbonate, it is soluble in water. So when most of the carbonates are insoluble in water, but this sodium carbonate is soluble in water. Most of the carbonates are insoluble in water, but this sodium carbonate is soluble in water. Okay. Uses of sodium carbonate. You all know what is the uses of washing soda. Okay. It is used in the cleaning of clothes. Okay. So it is mostly used in the rural areas, that is domestic areas. They are used to wash the clothes. Okay. And nowadays they are using this washing soda to manufacture of detergent cakes and detergent powders. Okay. And then removing of permanent hardness of water. We are giving our clothes to dry washers now. They are using this washing soda directly to remove the permanent hardness on the clothes. Okay. So then it is used in glass and paper industries also. Okay. It is a main thing. It is they are using in the glass and paper industries to the preparation of glasses and papers. Okay. And then the water in crystallization. Okay, the water in crystallization. So how we are doing the water in crystallization? The crystals we can make into the hydrated. I already used here, that is the sodium carbonate. It is an anhydrous powder. We are making this to the water molecules. We get the hydrated washing soda, hydrated sodium carbonate. As the same we are using, that is copper sulfate pentahydrate also. Okay, you know the molecular formula of copper sulfate, children? You know the molecular formula of copper sulfate. What is the molecular formula of copper sulfate? CuSO4. CuSO4. This is the anhydrous copper sulfate. We are taking anhydrous copper sulfate. We are adding to this 5 water molecules. 5 water molecules. We are getting CuSO4 dot 5H2O. Okay. So that is added to that. So we are getting copper sulfate pentahydrate. 5 means penta. So copper sulfate pentahydrate. Okay. As the same we can take, that is then we can dehydrate also. Okay. When we are heating this product, copper sulfate pentahydrate, we are heating again by the process of dehydration. We get this. Sorry, this is equation now. So then we get the like this. Okay, copper sulfate anhydrated copper sulfate. By the thermal effect of copper sulfate pentahydrate, it reduces into copper sulfate again. Okay. As I said, let us see one more example here. Ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. Ferrous sulfate. What is the molecular formula of ferrous sulfate? FeSO4. Ferrous sulfate. FeSO4. FeSO4. It reacts with 7H2O, 7 water molecules. Okay, it gives FeSO4 dot 7H2O. Okay, that is, what is the name of this? Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. Okay, are you clear, children? So 5 means penta, 7 means hepta. Here 10 we can say it is a decahydrate. Okay, understood? So here this is the anhydrous and hydrated. Okay, this is the difference between anhydrous and hydrated. Anhydrous means dry powders. Hydrated means it is included with the water molecules. Okay, children, understood? Okay, then the effect of heating on water of crystallization. So what is the effect here? Take a crystal of copper sulfate, that is pentahydrate. Okay, this reaction also it is given in your textbook. See that figure while watching this video. Keep your textbook near you. Okay, so we are taking a crystal of copper sulfate and pentahydrate in dry boiling tube. Heat it over flame strongly. We are heating with the flame strongly. After that, the white powdery substance is formed. Okay, so that is copper sulfate 5 hydrate. That is, it heated copper sulfate plus 5H2O. Okay, so watery droplets are also seen in the tube in the upper part of the test tube. Okay, in the upper part of the test tube we can see the water droplets. The copper sulfate should be in a anhydrous state, that is dry powder we can get. Okay, water droplets also seen in the upper part of the test tube. Okay, so this is the color of the solid again changes to blue. Okay, so this is the formula we can get. So anhydrous powder we are changing into the hydrated by adding the 5 water molecules into copper sulfate pentahydrate. Again we are taking this copper sulfate pentahydrate in a test tube. By a strong heating we get the again this products. Okay, that is copper sulfate as an anhydrous powder, that is blue in color, and 5H2O, that is the droplets we can see the upper part of the test tube. Okay, so this solution also reverse reaction. Okay, and then we move on to the another topic, plaster of Paris. Okay, so plaster of Paris is also obtained by gypsum and hydrated salt of calcium. Hydrated salt of calcium. Okay, we can say that is plaster of Paris as a gypsum. Okay, so obtained by the gypsum, that is hydrated salt of calcium sulfate. Hydrated salt of calcium. What is hydrated salt of calcium? Calcium sulfate dot 5H2O. Okay, sorry, 2H2O. Sorry, 2H2O. Okay, this we can say it is a gypsum. This is a gypsum. The name of the hydrated salt of calcium is gypsum. Okay, so by this we are getting the plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris. What is meant by plaster of Paris? We are using POP. Okay, so POP we are using now. We are using in various ways. Okay, POP. That we can say it is a plaster of Paris. Where we are obtained from this? From gypsum. What is the gypsum? Hydrated product of calcium. Okay, that is hydrated salt of calcium. We can say it is a gypsum. Okay, so gypsum is heated. While we are heating, it reduces into calcium sulfate half H2O while we are heating. Okay, so up to 150 degrees Celsius. We are heating up to 150 degrees Celsius. We are getting CaSO4 dot half H2O. Okay, so we are heating up to 150 degrees Celsius. Up to 150 degrees Celsius we are heating. We get plaster of Paris. CaSO4 dot of H2O. plus 1.5 H2O water molecules is released separately. Okay, it is released separately. See, calcium sulfate dot 2 H2O is a calcium, that is a hydrated salt of calcium. This hydrated salt of calcium, we can say it is a gypsum. The another name of hydrated salt of calcium is gypsum. Okay, while heating this gypsum up to 150 degrees Celsius, we get calcium sulfate dot of H2O. This is name of POP, that is plaster of Paris. Okay, plus half H2O. Okay, 1.5 H2O water molecules is released. Okay, so here this we can say this reaction also it is a reverse reaction. While we are adding to 1.5 H2O water molecules to POP, we are getting gypsum also. This reaction is also reverse reactions. Okay, so after addition of water, plaster of Paris is again converted into gypsum. Okay, so what is the uses of gypsum? Okay, so we are using in the medicinal fields. Okay, so it is used in the designer of the ceilings of homes, and we can use by the decorative items. Okay, and doctors use POP to set the fractured bones, etc. Okay, children, understood? Okay.